Well, hello and welcome to this month's episode of On Deck with Avoya, and yes, our 5-year anniversary special. I'm your host, Chris Greene, Director of Network Expansion for Avoya Travel, and I'm so excited and so honored to have reached this milestone today of broadcasting On Deck with Avoya for 5 years. And hopefully that means 5 years of inspiring the next generation of travel advisors. We've got a packed show to celebrate. We're going to get right after it. Mark Kazlauskas, the new CEO for Avoya Travel, is our featured guest this month. Jennifer Suarez from Celebrity Cruises, our executive insider for the month. Love our friends at Celebrity. We've got Gina Hoyt from the Avoya Travel Academy with her popular segment. Our great friend Laura Burke here to inspire and lay some knowledge on you. So we're going to get right after it. Today's episode of On Deck with Avoya, the 5-year anniversary special, kicks off right after these words. Well, hello and welcome back to this very special 5-year anniversary special for On Deck with Avoya. I'm your host, Chris Greene, Director of Network Expansion for Avoya Travel, and we're so honored for this segment today because we get to spend some quality time with the very top of the Avoya Travel leadership chain, pick the brain of our new CEO, and share his amazing insights and travel knowledge with you, the most important part of On Deck with Avoya. So please help me welcome in our new CEO to Avoya Travel, our featured guest for our 5-year anniversary special for On Deck with Avoya, Mark Kazlauskas. Mark, what an honor, and we really appreciate your time in helping us mark this very special milestone for On Deck.
Hey, Chris, thank you so much. Happy anniversary. I know you've done amazing things with this program, and I'm so proud of it and proud of you, and really happy to be part of it today.
Fantastic. Mark, I kind of want to break up our interview in 3 segments, almost like the Christmas Carol story. We'll cover the ghosts of Christmas past, the present, and more importantly, the future, except, of course, we'll talk about Avoya Travel. So let's start with a quick overview of you, your amazing history in the travel industry. Mark, what do you love about being a travel professional, I guess would be my first question. And why was the chance to be the CEO of Avoya Travel such a great opportunity for you?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I'm so amazingly privileged to have this job and honored to represent this incredible network and lead this incredible network. For me, coming here was I knew this company way back when I was president of Insight Vacations. We were one of the first actually to partner with Avoya, America's Vacation Center at the time, in sending leads. So we go back a long way. Me and the Andersons go back a long way. I know the incredible organization they built. I know the incredible people that work here. And I certainly know the incredible IAs that really make or break Avoya. And that was an easy decision to come over because, look, I loved where I was and what I was doing, but to lead such an impressive organization and take it from great to greater, to me, that was a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I'm so glad I did because it's such an incredible group.
Mark, as we kind of set the scene for today being our 5-year anniversary special of On Deck with Avoya, and when we think back 5 years ago, 2020, under the shadow of a pandemic that had the travel industry just at a complete standstill, when you look back 5 years ago and then forward there, what surprises you the most and impresses you the most about the travel industry and its resilience?
Yeah, it bounced back immediately and historically. I remember when sailing started to go and restrictions started to be removed, the phone was ringing so frequently that our advisors were working 12, 13, 14-hour days because they couldn't handle all of the new requests. People wanted to go anywhere and everywhere. And it just was a waterfall of a business that had pent up for basically 2 years. And when people felt good, they really felt good. So we had historic numbers coming out of COVID as a result of that.
Yeah, no doubt. When you think about the nature of what everyone went through, do you think that more people appreciate the role that the travel advisor plays now in vacations than they did, say, before the COVID crisis?
That's a great question. It is an absolute resounding yes. What clients found is if you booked yourself and you had to deal with what was during COVID, cancellation, changes, refunds, you were on your own and it took days to get through a vendor. Vendors didn't have all of the answers. So if you were working with an advisor, you could step back. We were doing all that work for you. We were doing changes, cancellations, refunds, everything. So one was when something goes wrong, we show our value, but also the time, the attention, the consultative way we do business, our experience, I think now won over the vast majority of consumers, especially when you think about booking a cruise now. It's up to 70% of overall cruise bookings are done by an advisor, or at least advised by an advisor. And that's because I think people are saying, I need someone to look after me. I don't want to do all the research. And if it hits the fan, I want to be able to call somebody. And I absolutely think that's the professional travel agent stepped up and did the right thing. And Avoya benefited, my previous company benefited, and a lot of in this industry benefited. It was also the professional ones stepped up even more. The ones that weren't professional got out. They were the first ones out the door when COVID hit. I saw that. The ones that stayed, which were the majority, those guys stepped up their game too. So everybody benefited from really a horrible situation.
Yeah, really, absolutely. That was really well put, Mark. Let's move forward and discuss a couple of current topics, if you don't mind. You've recently come on board, as we said, as the new CEO of Avoya. What are some of the short-term goals for both Avoya Travel that you have in mind? And Mark, how do you see that impacting the affiliates that make up the Avoya network?
Yeah, so the first thing I did when I came in is we just wanted to make sure everyone was calm and relaxed and knew that me coming across was not going to remarkably change the organization from what the Andersons built. I was going to continue on with a lot of the things, a lot of the great things they did. But what my job is to take the great things and enhance them, make them better, upgrade them, update them. So like how do we get AI in our infrastructure that allows our advisors to be faster, smarter, more productive? How do we use AI for marketing? How do we use AI for technology? So these are the things that I'm looking future. So for me, I came in and said, what are we missing? And I think we missed a concise, simple strategy. So the first thing I did with my direct leadership team, which is Phil, Mark, Carl, and Melody Goldman, who runs People Ops, was like, how do we simplify for everyone what we want to achieve? So when we kind of talked a lot about it, the three strategic pillars, the three strategies that rose to the top were, we had to focus on culture, we had to focus on technology, and we had to focus on growth. Culture, because it's the way we treat each other, the way we interact and treat our IAs, and the way we interact in the industry with our supplier partners. Technology is one of the secret sauces of Avoya, and we needed to enhance that to make it even better. And again, use AI and also go to the IAs. Our entire business is built around the IAs. We're in business for the IAs. So go to the IA population, say, what could we do? What are we doing? What can we do better in technology to help you, right? So we got a lot of feedback. And now we're making a lot of changes in technology. And then the third thing on growth, we were a bit stagnant the last few years through no fault of anyone, except for the fact that I think we just complicated our business a little too much. Taking it more in a simple approach, what we've seen over the last 60 days is with a maniacal focus on growth for everyone. Because don't forget, Chris, when we grow, our IAs grow. When our IAs grow, we grow. When we both grow, our suppliers grow. Everybody's happy. And our employees are happy because we have more money to hire more. We have more money for all the benefits. And frankly, we also, on the growth trajectory, it's good for our suppliers to see us growing. And so far, the last 60 days, we're seeing growth of in excess of 25% against the same time last year. So culture, technology, and growth are our three pillars, three strategies as we go forward.
I know you had a chance to recently return from your first Avoya conference. How exciting, right? I mean, what an amazing opportunity to interact with those that make up the Avoya network. Give me your thoughts on what being part of that event was like for the first time.
It was outstanding, better than I ever could have expected. The team did an amazing job, the events team and the Avoya team. The IAs were engaged. They came to every function, every training. The camaraderie amongst the IAs and amongst the IAs and the employees was something I had never seen before. And the engagement with the supplier partners and how they were a part of it, I will tell you, Chris, I wouldn't change a thing because it worked so well. It really was something. MSC stepped up and did a fantastic job on board for our conference, and I just happy in every way.
Yeah, fantastic. Always such an amazing event every year. Mark, I want to double down on this point you were kind of making a minute ago, but the Avoya Network, we're made up of over 2,000 independently owned agencies. And when you think about the current Avoya business model, how vital do you think our advisors are? And what message would you like to share with the greater travel advisor community that might be watching our show today about how Avoya Travel thinks about the IA base and what they are to the future?
Tell you, we have 60 years of doing amazing work for IAs. And what we do is we serve an incredible piece of this industry in that we bring new in and we teach them a career in travel. This is not a we want to join a club, we're just going to pay a fee. Right now, there's a lot of competitors that are kind of like shiny objects. They're beautiful pictures, they do great on social, but there's not a lot of substance. With us, it's substance. It's 60 years of making money. It's 60 years of training. It's 60 years of training thousands of advisors new to this industry. It's 60 years of helping our advisors grow their business and become $2, $3, $4, $5 million producers. It's 60 years of going out, generating demand, and handing it to the right advisor. It's 60 years of technology that has been invested since the beginning to make our IA's life easier and to have them focus on sales. So when I look at that, I think about our secret sauce, right? Which is the generating of leads, which means that we do the marketing, we hand it to the seller, which is the IA. It's the technology, as we said. It's the support we give. It's the events that we put on, and it's the training. There is nobody that does those five things as well as we do. And when we talk to obviously our current IAs, they know this, but potential new ones, guys, be careful who you join, because some of them may just take your money, never train you, and assume you're going to go out and sell travel, and it's going to be very difficult for you. You come to Avoya, we're going to teach you. We have 60 hours of initial training to get you ready to sell travel. In addition, we now have sales training, and we have now entrepreneurship training. So when you think about those things, the future for Avoya and IAs joining us is probably the best game in town. I would argue it is the best game in town.
Absolutely. And it's a subject I want to dive in a little deeper on, because if somebody is new to our industry, and of course you need those new people, that lifeblood, it's always exciting, and they're so full of energy and their dreams and things like that. But if people are just thinking about getting into travel sales and becoming a travel advisor, what piece of advice would you have for them on why now? I mean, heading into 2026 might be a great time for them to make that commitment to themselves.
Yeah, this is an incredible career. It is the most fun industry that you could possibly be a part of. That's the two biggies. The third is, let's say this is a first grade. Great, you're out of college, you want to try something. This is so cool because it's so social, it's so interactive. You get to meet people from around the world, and you get to travel, right? If you had already had a career, and let's say you had to leave to raise a family, you had to leave for whatever reason was personal, this is a great second and third career as well. And we teach you that. And also the advice I'd have is deep dive on what host agencies offer and if it's the right fit for you. Don't get lulled by pretty pictures. We have plenty of pretty pictures, Chris. We could show them all the most beautiful things, but it's the substance. It's what we put behind it and how we make you a professional and how we turn you into a sales monster. And you're making, Chris, there's also this kind of, I think, underrated ability to earn money in this industry. People think you won't earn money in travel. That is far from the truth. If you are doing $2 million a year, you're probably pulling in well in excess of 100 to 125,000 in your own pocket. So, I mean, you're talking a lot of money, sometimes even more, depending upon what product you sell. So there is money to be made, and to get to be a $2 million producer is not that difficult.
I mean, and not only that, but the lifestyle these people live. I'm personally jealous sometimes by being social media friends with some of the people in our network and just seeing the amazing places they get to visit, all for knowledge so that they can help their clients. But it's not a bad lifestyle either.
It is not. A week on an MSC ship hitting San Juan and Puerto Plata and MSC's Marine Ocean Sanctuary. I mean, you got to imagine just that. And then you think about some of the trips that people have taken in Africa and Asia and cruises to Antarctica, all these things. It is an amazing industry. And I encourage, if someone's looking for a career, look for travel.
Absolutely. Mark Kazlauskas, the new CEO for Avoya Travel, is our Avoya insider on this very special 5-year anniversary for On Deck with Avoya. Mark, when you get a chance to step away from the office, what kind of things do you like to do for fun?
Yeah, so for me, I have four kids, an amazing wife, and I travel a lot. So because I travel a lot, I try to spend a lot of time with my family. We've got three giant dogs, so my wife and I spend a lot of time caring for our giant dogs. And then obviously I travel a lot. We love to travel. We've been all over the world. I've taken my kids and us as a family have gone to Tahiti. We've gone to Africa. We've gone to the Med. We've gone to Alaska. We've tried to always take them. I've taken what I try to do too is when I travel and I have an opportunity to bring someone, I usually bring a child or my wife, obviously. But when I bring a child, like I brought my daughter to Morocco, Egypt, and India, I brought my sons to China. So I try to also show them the world that I'm a part of and show them how great the world is and culture and meeting people and food and all the things that goes along with it.
That's amazing. So you've had a chance to see some amazing places. What would you say is your favorite experience or place that you've traveled to that you think everybody has to get to at least once in their lifetime? And as a follow-up to that, what's the top location that's still on your I have to get there at some point list?
Yeah, so the one place I think everyone needs to go is Southern Africa. Whether you go to Botswana, Namibia, Tanzania, South Africa, you got to get on a safari, you got to get out, and you got to get in the bush. It is definitely, for me, it's my happy place. I probably have been on 16, 17 safaris. I've been to Africa, I've been to Kenya many times. It is a special place, and you really connect to the world down there because it's so different. So that's my one bit of advice. If you have an opportunity to get to anywhere in Southern Africa, I would take it. Where I went, I think that was most surprising. Antarctica. I loved Antarctica more than I ever could have expected. Obviously, you would only go back maybe once. It's probably a once repeat destination, but something I would highly recommend. And then I'm a big Australia fan. And I'll tell you what's interesting, Chris. Tonight, my wife and I are actually leaving to go to Egypt, and we're doing an Egypt cruise.
How awesome.
Yeah.
Mark, I've heard you quote the stat, but I have to ask for myself, how many days a year are you typically on the road? And how on earth do you juggle that number, sir?
Yeah, so I've historically over the last 10 years, I've spent on average between 150 and 180 days a year on the road, commuting, visiting, account method. For me, I learned early on never shirk a journey. I was told by an old boss, and he was right because these days you do a lot of Zoom. Most of the big deals and most of the relationships are done face to face. You can't establish a relationship with someone over a Zoom. So if I have an opportunity to go and meet someone face to face, I'll take it if it's available. And it's a mechanical thing for me. You get to the airport, you know what to do, you know how to deal with security, all the things that people worry about. I don't worry about. The only thing that stresses me is when a flight home is delayed. But out of that, I'm good.
For sure. All right, Mark, back to serious business because we've got a few more before we wrap up our interview today. But I was hoping you could look into the crystal ball and tell me what you see as the long-term future for Avoya. We covered the short term a little bit ago, but kind of looking at stretching that out a little bit further.
Yeah, we will definitely, with our trajectory and the investments we're making now, we will double the business in about 3 to 4 years. That's the first thing. And that's by spending more on marketing, being smarter with our marketing dollars, bringing AI into our business holistically, as I said. Again, not to supplant anyone, but to add added value, a really another amazing tool. I will tell you that obviously training our staff, training our IAs, and the partnerships we're making and that we're enhancing and we're building and showing partners that we can knock it out of the park from them. All those things go into what I believe will be an incredible 4 year, 5 year run for us.
That sounds fantastic. Mark, if you had to give a piece of advice to a travel advisor on things that they should do, maybe just a simple idea on something they can do to help capitalize on our current growth spurt in leisure travel, what advice would that be?
Yeah, so I have this mantra I've been telling our IAs is one is know your client. The one thing that AI can't have is empathy, and they can't have a relationship with your client. That's for you. Know your client intimately. Know their anniversary, know their birthday, know their kids' name, know their grandkids' names, know where they've been. So that way, when they call you, it's a conversation. You're not having to relearn it. The second is communicate. If you're not communicating to your clients in some way, shape, or form, email, phone, text, sending direct marketing on some of the ways that we help RIAs, somebody else is. So if you're not communicating, someone else is. I also say don't be afraid to ask for the business. Right now the scarcity and the price, the dynamic pricing we have. If you don't book right now, it's very unlikely it's going to be available tomorrow. And if you don't book right now with dynamic pricing, the price can go up in 5 minutes. So I always recommend like stepping up and making sure you ask for the business and don't be afraid to tell a client what I quote you today and what's available today very likely is not going to be available when you call me back. Um, and then the last thing is have fun. It goes back to what you and I were saying. We have a great industry. Enjoy it. Smile. Think about the fact that life could be a whole lot worse. You could be selling automobiles. You could be selling, house plants. I mean, you think about what we sell and the fact that everybody wants it. We should have fun.
Absolutely. Mark, I'm just going to ask this next question in a very simplistic kind of way. Are you excited for the future of cruising and leisure travel, and why?
So I would say I'm very excited for the future of cruising. I mean, we see that's on fire. We've heard multiple lines say 26 is looking as strong as 25, which is great. So we know the business is there. But I get excited on the product diversity that we're bringing to the network also. So obviously, we will always be a big cruise seller, and we will always have put cruise as a priority. But we also have to be able to offer our clients air, pre-post hotel, transfers, sightseeing, land vacations, land resorts, because our clients are multifaceted. They don't just take cruises. And if we want to capture all of their business, we have to have all of this available to us. So watch that space, Chris, as we start to roll out the product diversity that I think will help our IAs and grow their business.
Mark, we're here at the end, and as the big boss here for Avoya Travel, I want to give you the floor, sir, for some closing thoughts. So, Mark Kazlauskas, Avoya CEO, help us wrap up our insider segment for our 5-year anniversary special for our On Deck with Avoya, and lay some knowledge on us, sir.
Yeah, Chris, you do a great job. Happy anniversary. Like I said, this is a special place, and I think most people feel it, but I think that people that don't, we have to tell them. We know we're the best in the industry. We know that we absolutely have the future on our side. And I would encourage RIAs to go out and tell their friends. And I'd encourage anyone who's interested, join Avoya for the reasons that we talked about, because we are the absolute place and we are going to own the future.
There you go. Mark Kazlauskas, everyone, CEO of Avoya Travel. Mark, what an honor and privilege to have you on our program today. Thank you for your amazing insights, and thank you so much for making time in a busy schedule.
Thank you.
When we return, more of the 5-year anniversary special for On Deck with Avoya. So stay tuned. We've got more right after this. Well, hello and welcome back to this exciting 5-year anniversary special for On Deck with Avoya. I'm your host, Chris Greene, Director of Network Expansion for Avoya Travel. And today we're so honored to feature our amazing relationship with Celebrity Cruises. On Deck with Avoya was so fortunate to broadcast our 2-year anniversary special live from the Celebrity Beyond. And today we're so excited to feature the Vice President of Sales for the Americas for Celebrity Cruises, Jennifer Suarez. Jennifer, it's great to have you as our executive insider for the 5-year anniversary special of On Deck with Avoya.
No, the pleasure is all mine, Chris. Thank you so much for having me. We love our partnership, but so excited to be here on this special day of your anniversary.
Thank you so much. Jennifer, first off, we want to congratulate you. What an incredible career you've had, over 2 decades with the Royal Caribbean Group and now serving as the Vice President of Sales for the Americas for Celebrity Cruises. Can you share a bit about your earliest days in the industry and how that initial experience has kind of helped shape your understanding of the travel advisors and their needs?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I had a pretty unique start to this industry and this company, although I'm always amazed by the advisors that I meet and what worlds they've come from, right? So many of us have fallen into this career in this industry by chance. But I love how many people have joined this industry because they love travel. And so I think it has been the biggest honor to be a part of this industry for so long, and that we get to choose to do this day to day is pretty amazing. So I actually started right out of college at the Royal Caribbean Group. I studied statistics in college, and so I was actually studying for my actuarial exam when I got a 2-week temporary job at Royal Caribbean Group. At the time, it was just Royal Caribbean. In our incentive sales team as a coordinator. I was temping in place of somebody who was very, very ill at the time, unfortunately. but they needed someone there to kind of fill in that capacity. And it was a very interesting role for me. One, because I obviously didn't intend to stay, but I was so taken aback by this gentleman's um, work history, his pride in working for this company, the amount of time and effort and years he put into doing that role exceptionally well. So I felt like I owed it to him at that moment to do as best as I could in that role, despite not knowing a lick of anything. And it's very unfortunate he ended up passing away a few months later. But I felt like I started where he was so proud to end, and that kind of carried with me for the next 2 decades and now almost 24 years. But yeah, so I started in incentive sales, and then quickly after that found my way into a world that kind of more related to my degree. So I went into revenue management for a few years, learned a lot about our pricing operations, groups, all sorts of reporting, ended up becoming a little bit of a programmer and creating some of the reports that our revenue management team uses to manage their sailings day to day and manage the inventory day to day. And then eventually made it back into sales more in a analytical capacity, and looking at a lot of our amazing trade partners and the business that they bring us. And it really was some of the leadership at the time that brought me into a more customer facing role as a national account manager. And that really was so interesting to me, because it's one thing to look at reports and understand what happened in the past. Another is to look at it and say, well, what can I do with this in the future? How can I impact either the direction this is heading, or significantly increase what's going really, really well? And so that has been an interesting challenge. And I would say, as I've progressed through the sales organization over the years, it has been a pleasure and an amazing experience to get to know some of the folks in our industry, be able to understand a lot about their businesses, their teams, their families. It's quite the ecosystem that we have, and it's been an amazing pleasure.
Absolutely. As we continue with your tenure with the Royal Caribbean Group, Jen, what are two of the significant lessons you've learned during your time working across both the Royal and Celebrity brands that prepared you for your current leadership role?
Yeah, so there's probably a few different things. I would say early in my career, when I learned a lot about our systems, I really used that as the basis of trying to understand our partner systems and how they work together. And so having that knowledge to propel our businesses further and farther, um, was really key at the beginning. I would be very honest in saying I didn't understand the value of our relationships at the very early stages of my career. It wasn't until I was in maybe a true external facing role that I realized how much you can work together with an external partner outside of our company to really develop successes that are beneficial on each side. And so that took a little bit of learning for me, honestly, and I have truly enjoyed it, because every account that I've worked with and still work with today, I feel like I'm just as much a part of their team as I am our team. So learning as many different partners and meeting so many different advisors along the way at every conference, at every event, at every regional, and webinars, honestly just continues to add to the incredible opportunity that I have to lead this incredible team. Of course, being within this organization, and specifically within celebrity and the sales organization for so long, you get to know your team members as true friends, coworkers, their extended family. So there is quite the an amazing culture within our team, where we are truly there for each other in good times and in bad, in business and in personal. And I think that's prepared me more than anything for the crazy time we had over COVID, and being there for each other at that moment. And even after that, this incredible success that we've been having, and this return to business, and really soaring through the last year and a half, and fully expecting 2026 to be the best year we've ever had. But it's really prepared me for all of that internal team management side of that of this role at this time.
Absolutely. So let's look ahead into that exciting 2026. The celebrity brand continues to redefine new luxury. What would you say, Jen, is the single most exciting piece of news or something that's a big development within celebrity that you're most eager for travel advisors to share with their clients and make sure that they're top of mind about celebrity right now?
Yeah, so I would say there's two. If I can be a little greedy, I would say
Absolutely.
there's two different aspects to what's going on within our brand right now. One is Celebrity Excel, our brand new ship. She is on the last of our Edge class ships that we are launching. In fact, we're launching her in November. We have one more, so one more Edge class ship to launch in 2028. But we are really excited about her because she is going to have 7 new spaces on board that don't exist on any of our other Edge class vessels. The reason why that's important is because some of those areas are really transformative. And so, talking about one example is the bazaar. It is an amazing space in the back of our ship. On the other ships, it's called, many of you may know, it's Eden. This is turning into the bazaar, and it's specifically designed to blur the ship to shore experience. And so, what I mean by that is you may go into the bazaar the first evening, and there could be an incredible um, festival, F&B, craft artisan coming on board that's based on the location that we're visiting. The whole design, entertainment, again, food and beverage is all wrapped around that theme, where 2 days later it could be a whole different festival, a whole different design, a whole different experience. um, and I love that because even throughout the week that space changes based on where we're visiting, and you can visit the same venue but have totally different experiences on board. And I love that we have taken that feedback from our guests, that they really want to explore more, they want to understand more of where the places that we're visiting, but we can do that while bringing them that experience on board. So I love that Celebrity Excel is doing that. And then the second really, really exciting piece of news, and so many of you have supported us in this, and it's so amazing to do and see, is Celebrity River. So we are entering into the river space in 2027 with 2 amazing ships. If you haven't seen our video, absolutely visit thecelebritycommitment.com for all river information, and of course all other ocean information as well. But it's incredibly exciting for us. It has been the most exciting time to deploy something this big and have our trade partners have tremendous support for this product, and us overall. It's been really, really exciting.
Very exciting, absolutely. And I know that the buzz is just amazing about that. So really can't wait for that to launch. And I wanted to touch base on the partnership between Celebrity Cruises and Avoya Travel because clearly strong with a mutual commitment to innovation and supporting the independent travel advisor. From your perspective, why are strong relationships like the one with Avoya so critical to all the key components that are involved, right? The cruise line celebrity, Avoya Travel, and of course the independent agencies in our network and just independent agencies in general.
Yeah, no, so I mean, relationships, like we are in the relationship business, not only just between our businesses, between each of you and your clients, right? And if it wasn't for that relationship, we really wouldn't be able to grow to the levels that we have. This is not just a buzzword, right? This is like our passion point, is developing these relationships. And when I think about the independent advisor and Avoya specifically, I what we have learned and what we are dedicated towards is really not wiping everybody with the same paintbrush, right? There are so many different levels of experience, so many different levels of knowledge on our product or the industry, and we really want to meet them exactly where they're at, and so that we can try to grow that business together from wherever point they're at. So we do this today on board with our customers, right? We want that personalized customer service. We want to do that and aim to do that every day with our partners, just like Avoya. Yeah, so we continue to adapt and to learn. In fact, today we are sending out a survey to some of your members, those who have registered with us in the past, and that we have your information, just to learn a little bit more about you and what resources and information that you'd love to hear from us on. And that actually is just purely used to understand where you're at and what tools we can ensure that we are working on with you.
Jennifer Suarez, Vice President of Sales, the Americas, is our special guest this month as we celebrate 5 years of On Deck with Avoya. Jen, your role involves constant travel and exposure to incredible destinations. Is it able to boil down to like one travel memory, either professional or personal, that really stands out as a favorite? And if so, what made that moment so special?
Oh, so I would say, you know, I've been to amazing places, both for business and for pleasure. Um, this last summer, I visited on Celebrity Ascent. We were in the Mediterranean, my family and I, and what made a certain special moment, and the itinerary was insane. It was beautiful. It was these incredible places all along the coast. Um, and if I'm being honest, it was really an emotional moment for me, and it really is based on my personal beliefs, my religion, and being in the family that I'm at, right? So to give you a little bit of background, I have a very, very large family. One of my great aunts is a nun. She lived in Rome. She was the head of her order at one point. So I've grown up with this in my life. And my daughter attends Catholic school. And at one point during this trip, we were walking into the Vatican. And as we're walking through the square, my daughter kind of stopped for a second and said, "Oh my God, I know where we're at. I know where we're at. Like, this is where the Pope was just named. This is where I saw the smoke come out of the stack." And it all kind of came together for her. And I would say, as a mother, that was the most amazing moment. There's so many times you feel like you fail as a mother, to be honest. There's little misses along the way, but at that moment you just felt like, this is a day I got it right. This is a day where it all came together, all that kind of hard work and formation in your child. Because really, I mean, what are we doing if it's not for our family, right? um,
Absolutely.
and so it was an amazing moment for me. A funny story, a few weeks later, we were at her doctor's office, and her doctor was asking her, "So where'd you go this summer?" So we were, in this industry. She said, "Oh, I went on a cruise." Oh, great, great. Where'd you go? She mentioned every other port but Rome.
Oh, no.
And then when I finally said Rome, she was all excited about the ice cream, right?
Right,
About
right.
the gelato. So maybe I did fail, but,
I don't
but
know.
it
In
was
her
a good
defense, the gelato is pretty amazing. So,
Yeah. Now, again, the ship was absolutely amazing. The itinerary was amazing. Could not have asked for anything better. It was by far our best trip. Aside from that, our Galapagos experience was, right there in terms of such a unique place and a unique experience. Um, I don't want to say once in a lifetime, because I really am looking forward to going back one day too.
absolutely. The complexity, Jen, of cruise travel continues to increase, yet the value of the travel advisor is just more important than ever. And not just a byproduct of COVID, but certainly has been highlighted more since the COVID crisis. Can you highlight a specific way that Celebrity is currently investing in ways to support the independent travel advisor to ensure their continued growth?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, this survey that we're sending out to the IA community in general, specifically to advisors of Avoya, is really to learn a lot about where they're at, what tools do they need, what tools do we already have to continue that one-to-one relationship with them. So we're investing, and that's coming from a place where we have dedicated a whole resource to just the IA model for us internally to understand where do we need to continue to adjust, because this part of our advisor community is growing and doing very, very well with us. We want to make sure that again, we're meeting them where they're at and we can continue to grow them. We're also adding new opportunities for ship tours. As we know, that firsthand experience for these IAs is really, really important. So ship tours and even opportunities to sail with us is all coming within the next year as a more formal process and program for them.
Fantastic. As an executive insider, you have such a unique vantage point on the global market. Outside of new ships, which we're so blessed, there's so many of them coming on board, and amazing itineraries, is there like one major trend you might point out to our viewers today that you see driving consumer behavior in that premium cruise space today?
Yes. So I would say our kind of landscape or seascape, you could call it. I think the most interesting development that is happening and will continue over the next few years is this amazing transfer of wealth, the largest transfer of wealth that we'll ever see or we've ever seen before. And it's not just that transfer of wealth, it's also that consumers are still prioritizing experiences over physical items. That is the perfect match for the premium segment, right? Because it is our demographic, it is those who will have that dispensable income, and they're looking for that experience, and they don't want to go, when they go, they really want to experience something and enjoy it and feel like it's full of quality experiences, and that's exactly what we provide. So I would say that the premium segment in general, and specifically celebrity cruises, is well set up for to take full advantage of the next few years, and I think we are already starting to see some of the benefits of that.
That's fantastic. Jen, before we wrap up today, I wanted to first give you just an open forum to discuss anything that you think is vital to celebrity, or just maybe something we haven't touched base yet on today that you think is vital to our conversation.
Yeah, I would just like to welcome all of the newer advisors. All as you're trying to learn the landscape and seascape of our industry. There's so many amazing brands out there. Just really understanding what your client likes to do, even on land, to be able to provide them the guidance to the right cruise or even ship, is really important. So when you think about celebrity cruises, we're a four-star Forbes four-star rated cruise line. So many of our ships have that quality of experiences in terms of food and beverage and entertainment, and obviously cleanliness, service, and all those areas. And that really starts from that first phone call into our call center all the way through post cruise, right? It's not just the onboard piece, it's the end to end experience. And so, even when you learn that piece and understand what your client likes to do on land, and transition them into a cruiser potentially, within our brand, there's different experiences and there's different ship classes. And the reason that that's important is there's some older hardware that is a little bit more traditional, but certainly has a special sauce, because they're some of the best rated ships on our in our entire fleet from a customer perspective. They also tend to get into some of the nooks and crannies of the ports in the world. And so that's really good to know. Those are more like boutique hotels, right? When you get into that mid tier, so which would be our Solstice class ships, those are like going to the Bellagio in Las Vegas. Those are, such a broad audience of guests who would absolutely love that experience. um, I have a special place in my heart for them because they really transitioned our brand into kind of old world cruising into the new kind of floating hotel concept, right? And I just think they're absolutely beautiful, and compared to any resort on land. When you head into Edge class, you add another level of technology, of innovative design, of experiences that are even unique on land. And so we're providing that. And that would be like going to something like the Wynn in Las Vegas, where you are paying a little bit more, but you're paying a little bit more for that edginess, right? For that um, extra touch of design and unique experiences that you can't find anywhere else. So I would really take the time to try to understand the differences of the ship classes and the differences between the brands to help you kind of identify what is your right client for that experience. And so, and once you find that a client likes it, by all means, like, that is the opportunity to take advantage of our future cruise offers in the future. While they're sailing, get them to rebook, because it's the best thing you can do. It's kind of two for one. But man, they're already having a great time. It's the best opportunity for you to get that second booking from them.
I mean, it's absolutely amazing. One of the things that blows me away about celebrity is you literally can be walking from the pool to your room. And as you do that, you're like walking through a world class art museum sometimes. And, I mean, you're just making that journey between the two spaces, but the art, the
It's
textures, the colors,
beautiful.
everything that just creates this vibe, it always just blows me away.
The design, the attention to detail in the design phases and what's delivered on board is absolutely incredible. I agree with you with the artwork. I am not particularly an art buff, but I find myself taking pictures of our artwork when I go on our ships, and I think that says something. And it definitely is unique, and it definitely is to pique interest and make it Instagrammable moments for your clients and our guests on board. And some of my best family photos and experiences overall have been in some of those spaces.
Absolutely. So, Jen, let's conclude our 5 year anniversary special for On Deck with Avoya with a real bang. I'd like you to kind of take a look further out. What's your ultimate vision for the future of leisure travel for cruising, say over the next decade? And what role do you see celebrity cruises playing in that future?
Oh, I think we will always represent amazing quality, amazing people, amazing experiences, and really travel the world to and deliver our guests the most premium, exceptional experiences now on rivers and in the ocean. Uh, for me personally, I think AI is going to have an incredible role for all of us in terms of making the best use of our time, not necessarily to rely on or replace us, but certainly to make our jobs easier. And I'm really excited to see where the next 10 years go for our industry. I think there's going to be incredible improvements and lots of really awesome tools for our advisors to use, both provided from us as cruise brands, but also within your network, because certainly your organization is working on some really awesome stuff for the future as well.
Fantastic. Jennifer Suarez, everyone, Vice President of the Americas for Celebrity Cruises. Jen, so great to have you on the show. Always great to highlight the great partnership with Avoya Travel and Celebrity Cruises. And thank you so much for being part of our 5 year anniversary special.
Thank you, Chris. It's been an absolute pleasure. Congratulations to you and the entire team. This is an incredible accomplishment.
Thank you so much. Coming up, we're going to wrap up the 5 year anniversary special with some special thank yous. We're going to set the future of the program and, of course, make sure you know how you can become involved because without you, the travel advisor, none of this is possible. On Deck with Avoya, we'll be right back here after this message.
Well, greetings, everyone. It's Laura Burke, Director of Promotional Operations and Development here at Avoya Travel. As we head into November, it is the perfect time to shift our focus to gratitude and strategic preparation. So first, let's talk about celebrating the wins. It's important to take a moment this month to truly acknowledge all the successful milestones you've achieved this year. Being thankful for your clients and your partnerships isn't just good for the soul, it helps to re-energize us for what's coming next. And what's coming next? Well, that's wave season. Wave season's just right around the corner, and now is the time to lay the groundwork. Organize your client lists, review the latest promotions, maybe even block time out for some dedicated professional development. A little focused effort now means a massive payoff when the booking frenzy begins in January. You're going to want to ride that wave and not be overwhelmed by it, so be prepared. Finally, I want to give a shout out and congratulations to Chris Greene and On Deck with Avoya as we celebrate an incredible 5 years of providing essential travel industry insight and motivation to independent agencies like you. Thank you, Chris, for your dedication and consistently helping us navigate these waters. Let's make this November a month of thanks, growth, and getting on deck for your most successful wave season yet. That's all the time we have this month. As always, I'm wishing you the best in success, and I'll see you the next time around.
Hello, my name is Gina Hoyt, and welcome to Insights from the Academy. Today, let's talk about the importance of building strong supplier relationships. In the travel industry, success isn't just about what you know, it's also about who you know. One of the most valuable assets a travel agent can develop is strong relationships with suppliers. These relationships go far beyond basic business transactions. They are partnerships built on communication, trust, and mutual respect. When you establish genuine connections with supplier representatives, you gain access to insider knowledge, special promotions, and support that can elevate your client experiences. For instance, when a flight is canceled or a client needs a last-minute room upgrade, having that personal connection at the supplier level can make the difference between frustration and flawless service. These relationships also help you stay informed about new products, policy updates, and destination developments, allowing you to provide your clients with accurate and timely advice. In many ways, your supplier network becomes an extension of your team, helping you deliver exceptional value while saving time and stress. Agents who nurture these partnerships not only provide better experiences for their clients, but also build a reputation for professionalism and reliability within the industry. In travel, it's not just about the destination, it's about the connections that get you there. When you build strong supplier relationships, you're not just creating connections, you're creating the power to turn travel challenges into unforgettable client experiences. Thanks for joining us, and until next time.
Welcome back to On Deck with Avoya as we put the finishing touches on our 5-year anniversary special. We hope you like this show. We certainly appreciate your time and continued devotion to On Deck with Avoya. And I wanted to take a moment to personally acknowledge a few very special people that have made the last 5 years possible. First off, Marissa McHale, Senior Content Manager with our marketing team and my marketing partner since day one, and all of the evolutions that have happened for On Deck with Avoya. Thank you, Marissa, for your amazing insights and your push to always make our program better. And to the man who works his magic behind the scenes, Ryan Nicholson, Senior Graphic Designer and Video Editor in our world-class creative services team. Ryan, my friend, your work inspires me and no doubt makes our program shine in the best ways. Thank you for being such a great partner in On Deck with Avoya. And of course, a big thank you to you, all of our guests over the course of 5 years. Those are our internal and part of the Avoya family, and of course, those that we featured from our vendor partnerships, our industry relationships. Thank you for all of your amazing updates. And of course, last but not least, our viewers, the subscribers to our show that have made 5 years of On Deck with Avoya possible. The show is for you. It's about you, and hopefully something you feel you get something out of that's positive for your travel business or your dreams of being in our industry. We'll sign off for now, but we'll be back next month as we sail into new waters in year number 6 of On Deck with Avoya. Until then, take care, everyone.